everybody.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. It's so good to see some of your faces that are coming onto video. Hello. I see some familiar faces of our 200-hour trainees and grads, and I also see some new faces. So welcome, everybody. We are so thrilled to be here with each and every one of you this afternoon/evening, depending on where you're at. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Ilana Nankin. I am the founder and CEO of Breathe for Change, which is an organization on a mission to enhance the health and well-being of educators, first and foremost, you amazing humans, and also students and entire communities. And we run the world's only 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training that's specifically for incredible educators and leaders like yourself who really care about using wellness as a vehicle for healing and social change. And so we are thrilled to have you at this webinar. We're going to be diving into a bunch of strategies and practices that you can use that allow you to integrate SEL into your instruction to support our students' mental health, which I know we're all here because we know how important that is. And so without further ado, I would love to first settle in together, and then my partner in crime, Michelle, and me will introduce ourselves just a little bit more, and then we'll dive in. So does that sound good? All right, so let's just take a moment and find that comfortable seat, okay? That might be you sitting in crisscross applesauce. Special shout out to you early childhood and elementary folks out there. It might be you sitting in your chair, on the bed, on a couch, on the floor. Maybe you need to be lying down horizontal right now. You're like, it's been a long day. That's cool too. So just allow yourself to rest into whatever space you're in right now. You can do some shoulder rolls to get any tension out that you might be carrying right now. And then just allow your shoulders to relax down your back. Bring length to your spine. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes and connect to your breath. Observing the rise and the fall of each inhale and each exhale. And if you're just joining us, welcome. We're settling in now. Just find your comfortable position and connect to your breath. I invite you to bring one hand to your heart and the other over that hand. Maybe you draw so much attention right there to your heart that you can even feel the rhythm of your heart beating beneath your palms. And your breath moving in and out, up and down. And as you continue to breathe, I invite you to check in and just notice how you're feeling right now. If you're in our 200-hour training or you graduated, you know that one of our favorite SEL strategies is called the 2-word check-in. So for those of you who are new, I invite you to find 2 words that describe how you are feeling right now. Just 2 words. Once you've landed on those 2 words that describe your vibe right now, I invite you to open your eyes if they're closed, come back into this space, and I welcome you to put your 2 words into the chat, and everything is welcome, no matter how you're feeling. It is all welcomed here at Breathe for Change. Sleepy and grateful, relaxed and grateful, curious, relaxed, tired, happy, restless, anxious, tired, peaceful, exhausted. I'm seeing a lot of exhausted, tired. Well, you're in the right place because we're about to fill ourselves up with some amazing mind, body, wellness, and social emotional learning practices that hopefully will nourish your soul. And for those of you who, again, are new to Breathe for Change, everything that we'll be doing is just giving you a little bit of a taste of what we do in our 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training. So we're so excited for you to just experience the magic for yourself. So a little bit more about me before we dive in to our practices. Again, my name is Dr. Ilana Nankin. I'm the founder and CEO of Breathe for Change. And my experience really started in the classroom as a pre-K teacher. So I'm from San Francisco on a lonely land right now. And when I was teaching in SFUSD in the Spanish dual immersion school, I was stressed, I was overwhelmed, and I was overworked. And that's when I first found yoga and these wellness practices, and it just completely transformed my life and my well-being. And I ended up integrating so many of the practices that I was using for myself with my students, and it just completely transformed my students, both social, emotionally, but also academically. And I was like, there's something going on here that must be further explored. So I ended up pursuing my PhD in curriculum and instruction and becoming a teacher educator at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. So shout out to all you Midwestern folks out there. That's where Breathe for Change was born. And for my dissertation, I followed a bunch of teachers that I had taught in the teacher ed program into diverse classrooms all over the country and world. And I was specifically looking at how they would take up their ideals of social justice and action in their teaching. And what I ended up finding was that across the board, these educators felt so stressed and overwhelmed and burnt out. And that negative cycle of well-being was deeply impacting their teaching and their ability to fulfill on the social emotional needs of their students. And so as I was seeing how universal the issue of educator stress and burnout was through my research, and I knew it through my teaching, and this was pre-pandemic, so you add way more layers of stress after that. I simultaneously had just gotten my yoga teacher certification. So I went through my 200-hour training. It was so life-changing, as many of you in our training know. And the educators I was working with at the time found out I was a yoga teacher, thought it was amazing. And they ended up renting out space in the student union for me to teach them yoga and meditation and these mindfulness practices. And the results were astounding. Every single day, different teachers would come up to me and say things like, "Oh my gosh, Ilana, the kids who normally have anxiety attacks before tests are utilizing these breathing techniques that you taught us, and their test scores are improving." Or, the students who are experiencing so much trauma in the home are learning how to breathe and regulate their bodies and draw on these powerful SEL practices, and everything is improving. And so I was like, all right, I see how universal the issue of educator stress and burnout is, and also how powerful these wellness and social emotional learning tools can truly be for both educators and students' life. So nothing's going to stop me. I'm starting a movement. It's going to enhance the health and well-being of educators, students, and entire communities. And that's when Breathe for Change was born. So it was in 2015, which I can't believe is 7.5 years ago. And I set out to start the world's only 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training. Somehow managed to convince 34 educators that it was an amazing idea to come to Madison for a 200-hour thing that had never existed before. And it was just so transformational for all of us. All the educators, they graduated, they went back to their programs and their schools and their districts, and they started integrating SEL into all aspects of their instruction, using so many of the practices that Michelle and I will be leading for you today in their leadership, in their teaching. They were starting, mindfulness clubs and yoga programs for students and families and teachers. And they were leading wellness workshops and professional development, and you name it, they were doing it. So we decided to expand to the Bay Area, New York City the next year. And when we were in New York City, Sesame Street hosted us. So when Elmo and Big Bird came, I was like, okay, we're on to something. So we certified 185 teachers across 3 cities the second year, and then 600 across 6 cities, and 1,100 across 11 cities. And then when the pandemic hit, we transitioned all of our in-person trainings online to support the educators moving through this experience, and then asked hundreds of you, educators, administrators, what do you need and how can we help? And that's how we ended up bringing all of our resources into the digital space. So every educator everywhere, including all of you, can have access to this important work, these mind-body wellness practices, these social emotional learning strategies, so that we can support not only our own well-being, but also our students and our entire community. So we're thrilled to give you a taste today of what Breathe for Change is all about. And we hope that you leave feeling so much healthier and better in your body and your mind, and that you actually get some tangible tools to integrate into your teaching and leadership. So that's a little bit about me and Breathe for Change. And I'd love to pass it on over to my partner in crime who co-leads trainings with me. Michelle, will you introduce yourself?
All right, now I can unmute. I have power. Excellent. Hi, everybody. It's so good to be here with you. My name is Michelle. My pronouns are she, her. I'm also in the San Francisco Bay Area on Ohlone land in what's colonized as Oakland, California. And I am a long time, more than 2 decades of teaching asana. That's the physical practice of yoga. And I've always been an educator and a teacher of teachers. And I came to Breathe for Change in January of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. And Ilana and I were teaching right alongside each other in person. And then you all know what happened, and we had to go digitally. And it has been such an incredible shift for me to move from, I was leading trainings internationally. I was leading workshops and retreats and in yoga studios, in all different kinds of settings, in private one-on-ones, in corporate settings, in schools, in staff lounges, all of that. And I, as someone who identifies as queer and cisgender and Latinx, I'm mixed race, I am bilingual, I have all of these dualities and intersectionalities to me. And I looked at this practice that comes to us from India, and we have so distorted it in the West and made it something that is just like a physical fitness regime. And I know that it is so much deeper because of my studies as well as my own personal practice. And I had gotten to a point where I thought, like, how can I really honor the roots of this practice and also honor my own values, my dominant value of social justice, and looking at yoga at the intersection of yoga and social justice and helping change the world. And along came Breathe for Change, and it's the perfect match, and it's amazing. And I'm just so thrilled to be here with all of you and to give you a little taste of what we do in our 200-hour training. So right back to you, Ilana. Thanks for the opportunity to share.
All right, so y'all ready to dive into what you came here for, which is, let's talk about how we can use SEL strategies to enhance student mental health. And we know that this is needed now more than ever before. So our intention, first and foremost, for all of you is to enhance your own mental, physical, and social emotional well-being through building a personal practice, personal relationship with the SEL strategies that we will be teaching you. So why is this? It's because you matter and your well-being matters and is foundational to your capacity to be able to facilitate these social emotional learning experiences for your students. So second outcome, Michelle.
You will learn to embody and facilitate foundational mind-body wellness and social emotional learning practices to support your own mental health.
As well as your students.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, community is at the heart of everything we do at Breathe for Change. So our intention is that you feel connected to this amazing community of educators and leaders who are committed to using wellness as a vehicle for healing and social change. So at the same time that we are focused on our students, we're also focused at Breathe for Change on you taking care of you. When we are embodying the SEL competencies and practices that we want to teach our students, that's when the true transformation happens. They can see that we are living and breathing what we're teaching. And so we start with us, and then you'll walk away with some tangible tools to also share with your students. And so at Breathe for Change, we approach well-being at three layers. First, we start with transformation of self, which is all about us as educators and leaders, cultivating our own well-being. From there, we move into transformation of relationships. How do we show up fully in our relationships, whether it's our relationships with students, our community members, et cetera. And then we realize that when we build this foundation of well-being within ourselves, our students, and our relationships, and our whole community can transform. And so all the strategies that we'll be teaching you today aim to support you and your students' mental, physical, and social emotional well-being. And so as a reminder, there are 5 social emotional learning competencies, and the intention of this session is to support you in embodying these competencies for yourself, as well as gaining the skills to support your students in living and breathing these competencies within themselves. So we start with self-awareness. This is our foundation. So when we are able to cultivate, or our students are able to cultivate a mindful awareness of our present moment experience, whether that's of our breath, of our body, of our emotions, or of our thoughts, we enhance our ability to manage and regulate our bodies, especially when times get tough. Also, we enhance our ability to build trusting relationships, embrace diverse perspectives, and ultimately to make responsible decisions. So at Breathe for Change, we start with self-awareness and we build from there. And my dissertation, as I mentioned, revealed that critical connection between educators' well-being and students' well-being. So as Marissa stated right here, if I am stressed, my students are stressed. Or as Krista would put it, when I'm calm and collected, my students are calm and collected. So let's talk about the critical connection between self-awareness and self-management. So our own and our students' ability to cultivate that awareness of our emotions, like I feel this, or I'm noticing this is happening inside me. Once we are aware of our emotions, of our sensations, of our present moment experience, we gain the power to choose our response. Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl couldn't have put it more clearly. He said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So it's in that moment of self-awareness where we realize, wow, I'm just feeling, so sad or so upset, so down right now. Or, wow, I am just pissed off, I'm furious, I'm frustrated, I'm angry. It's in that moment of pause that we are actually gifted the opportunity to make a mindful choice in how we respond. So we get to choose. Do I want to keep feeling this way? Maybe it's working for me, so that might work. Or do I want to maintain or amplify the way I'm feeling? Maybe I'm feeling super great, or I want to keep this going, or I want to ramp it up or enhance it. Or for me, at least, this happens often, maybe I want to change the way I'm feeling, right? So we get to choose how we want to respond. Now, we are about to teach you a wide range of social emotional strategies that you can use in your instruction and your interaction with students to enhance their well-being. And before we dive into those practices, I just want to name that the practices that Michelle and I will be leading you through can be used both responsively and proactively. What I mean by responsively is that, let's just say it's a heightened moment of stress, or something just happened, or there's conflict in the room. You can draw on these practices to respond to stress in the moment. This would be the responsive approach. Then there's the proactive approach. Now, this is just as important, and we recommend using both of these approaches. For proactive, we mean you integrate this more consistently into your daily routines, right? You're proactively putting this into the beginning of your morning circle, or you're integrating this as your transitions or a daily brain break, or you're finding different ways to be consistent with these practices. And with practice comes great long-term impact. So it decreases overall reactivity of our students. It can enhance overall well-being. So we want to use these practices both responsively to those in those moments when we need them, but also proactively. So we're learning to use and draw on these practices in a daily manner. So let's dive into the fun and why we're here. So the first social emotional learning strategies that we are going to be drawing on are practices that allow us to connect to our breath. So we'll first do our 3 collective breaths, which is our foundational practice, and then we'll do a mindfulness of the breath practice. So Michelle, can you start us with 3 collective breaths?
I'd love to. All right, everyone. I invite you to stand up if you feel like standing. Maybe you've been sitting for a while, or you can stay seated. Just take a moment to lengthen your spine and take a deep breath in and exhale it out. You might even bring a hand to your heart if that helps you stay connected to you. Inhale again. Exhale it out. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. All right, now, how are you feeling from just those 3 collective breaths we just did together? Put one word in the chat or maybe an emoji, let me know. Amazing, I see that thumbs up, relaxed, calmer, focused, grounded, more happy face, relaxed, calm, chill, very calm, focused, relaxed. Yeah. So that was really super fast, right? And you see the shift and you felt it also.
So this is just such a powerful practice that you can integrate into your teaching, into your work with students. And 3 collective breaths, I swear, it honestly impacts students' mental health, and they can then learn to draw on the practice in times where they need it. And so just out of curiosity, you can put it into the chat. When might be some times that you feel like you can facilitate 3 collective breaths with your student that would be really beneficial for them? I know all of you are working in different contexts, from early childhood to elementary, middle school, high school, young adults. Let's see, transitions after lunch. Yep, starting the day, great community builder and settle in practice to start the day as a reset, totally, before a new lesson. Great idea. Morning circle time. Yeah, I would always do it in my morning circle. Before each activity, before assessments. Yes, when there's like that heightened moment of stress or nerves, great time to use the 3 collective breaths. And it is so transformational. And after your students do it for a while, you can invite them to lead it. You can have different students leading the practice. It can be a great way to build those leadership skills and get them excited about having agency over this practice. And you'll notice Michelle asked you at the end, how do you feel? Take a moment to pause, check in with yourself. That moment of pause, that reflection after the practice, is just as important as the practice itself, because that's where the self-awareness and self-management skills really come in. Like, I'm aware, wow. So you put words like, I'm aware, I'm feeling relaxed. I'm aware, I'm feeling calm. I'm aware, I'm feeling great. So then later on, when our students are not feeling that great, that calm, that relaxed, and they're feeling upset, frustrated, whatever it is, they might have that moment of awareness. Hey, I remember when I took those 3 collective breaths. Let me do that right now, because that will help me feel more centered, more grounded, more calm. So always remember to ask your students to take that moment after the fact and check in and notice how they feel. Cool. Thumbs up. Yes, in the chat. Is that clear? All right. So the next breathing practice that we want to teach you to enhance students' social emotional learning and mental health skills is mindfulness of the breath. How this works is we're simply inviting our students to observe and fully accept the natural flow of their breath. That's it. Okay. So try this with me if you'd like. I invite you to find that comfortable position. Oh. And then if you'd like, you can soften your gaze. You can close your eyes, whatever feels most comfortable to you. and just connect to the natural flow of your breath. So just observing the rise and the fall of each inhale and each exhale. And if you notice your mind is wandering at some point, no worries, you're human, it's going to wander. Just gently bring your attention back to the breath. Bringing your attention back to each inhale, back to each exhale. So your breath is like your anchor here. Without trying to shift or change it at all, simply just draw your attention to the breath. You can fully accept your breath exactly as it is. Maybe it's quick today, maybe it's soft and gentle. Maybe your breath is long, it might be shifting as we practice. Just continuing to observe the breath. Now take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Again, inhale, exhale, breathe in, out with a huge sigh. Give your heart a little rub and some love. Just take a moment, check in. How do you feel after that mindfulness of the breath practice? And you can find a word, 2 words, put it into the chat, or if you'd like, you can come off mute and share your word out with this community. Let's hear it. How do you feel? Ooh, multiple centered, focus, centered, centered, centered. It's a centering practice. So that is fabulous to hear that it's working. Excited, clear, a bit more focused, relaxed. Awesome, everybody. So great. So those were just a couple of breathing practices, the 3 collective breaths and the mindfulness of the breath practice that you can integrate into your instruction. And it can make a huge difference for students' mental health, especially if they're experiencing anxiety or they're overwhelmed or stressed out. These practices, as you showed in the chat, can be very centering and grounding and allow us to come back to ourselves and our present moment experience. So those were some practices that allow us to connect to our breath. And now we also have some practices that allow us to connect to our bodies. And so these include some mindful movement practices, some body awareness practices. So some of the practices that we do in our 200-hour training include mindful movement. There's a specific sequence called sun salutations that you can do that connects your breath to your movement. Also, the breath of joy is a really fun one. Tense and release to release stress, and then a body scan. So we'll go over a couple of these with you now. So Michelle, will you start us with a half sun salutation?
All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to blur my background so that you can see me a little bit better. And we'll do a half sun salutation in the chair. So this is a way that you might be able to make it a little more accessible for your people, and be mindful. If you're sitting at desks, of course, when you fold forward, you might just bring your arms onto the desk, and you can follow along in a way that feels really good to you. And I have a new rescue dog, and she might join me. So that'll be fun if she gets to join in the fun. So as you're sitting in your chair, scooch to the front of the chair and bring your feet down to the floor. And you can take a moment and inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. You can have your hands on your lap, and then inhale, look up, lift up, and then exhale, fold on down. And inhale, come on up, reach your arms up, reach up, and exhale, bring your hands right down through heart center and fold forward. And inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold in. And one more time, inhale, reach up, extend and lengthen. And exhale, let's fold forward again and inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, folding down. And inhale, come back up. So that is a modified sun salutation with a dog.
And one thing that I'll just note, don't you love Remy, her new dog? He's perfect. So one thing to note with when it comes to mindful movement is that you can absolutely facilitate any kind of movement that you want that connects your breath or your student's breath to the movement. So if you just take a moment and play with us for a second, just start to make some movements with your body. You can do anything you want and have each inhale and each exhale be a different movement. So maybe you're reaching your arms out wide, giving yourself a hug. You can reach up. You can do a side bend. So just moving your body here for a moment. Oh. All right, and just notice what that feels like. Amazing. So you can incorporate minutes of movement, seconds of movement into transitions, into different, into your community circle to start the day, before a test. There's so many different ways that you can draw on the practice of mindful movement, or specifically these sun salutations where you're reaching your arms up, you're folding forward, you're halfway lifting and folding and reaching back up and coming back to center. These are incredible tools to support our students' mental and physical health. With that, I now invite you to stand on up if you can, and come back into gallery view because this is more fun. So, and from this position, if you can, I'll invite you in a moment to come off mute, but first I'm going to explain what the breath of joy is. So I invite you to ground down through both feet. And what we'll do is take 3 short inhales as we reach our arms up to the sky like this. And on the exhale, you're going to go, ah. Okay. So I invite you to come off mute because it's way more fun. We'll do it together. We'll do 3 rounds. So ground down through both feet, lengthen through your spine, and you can do the seated if you're not able to stand right now. And let's do the breath of joy. So ready? 3 short inhales as you reach your arms up. And on the exhale, ah. Beautiful. Again. Awesome. Last time. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. And now bring your hands to your heart. Notice how you're feeling right now. And if you'd like, you can come back off mute, share how you're feeling. Let's hear it. 1 word, 2 words, just shout it out. Awesome. More awake. I love it. Smiley. So good. Alert, alert, ready, energize, energize, smiles, released. So awesome. So the reason why we drew on this practice was to show you that not every social emotional learning strategy has the same outcome, right? The breathing practices we did at the start, where your words were like grounded, centered, relaxed, calm, that sort of feeling or outcome. And then this breath of joy and also some of the mindful movement, it creates a different outcome. I see awesome, fun, energy, happy, excited. That's definitely different than the experience that you had when you took your 3 collective breaths. And so the thing that I want you to remember here is that all these different SEL practices and mind-body wellness strategies that we're teaching you, you get to add to your toolkit, and you can draw on them when you need them. And what you need in any given moment is going to be different than the next moment. So sometimes you might want to draw on the breath of joy to cultivate energy fun, playfulness. And other times you might want to have a more grounding practice. So we're adding to your toolkit, and so excited for you to continue to draw on these practices. So y'all ready for the next one? Yeah. Michelle, will you do a tense and release?
Oh yeah. All right, everybody. You can just stay as you are. I'm going to invite you to tense everything up. Flex your feet, take your hands, make little fists, curl in, round your spine, draw your chin to your chest, just curl tight, tight, tight. Make everything as tight as you can. Scrunch up your face like a prune. And then slowly, slowly begin to release everything. Slowly feel as you soften, as you open, feel what that feels like. Ah, much better, right? So that practice gives your muscles the information of how to release. Some of our muscles are actually just holding. And so when you actually bring it into an intense position, you can find a new way to let it go.
I love doing that one when there's like that, you can feel the tension in the room, or you can feel it in your own body, and it just activates it a little and just lets it go. So that can be a great tool that you can teach your students to use when they're feeling however they're feeling, stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, angry, you name it. It allows them that moment to let something go, because we carry so much of the stress that is going on in our mind in our actual physical bodies. And so when we activate that and we release, it actually can have that mind-body connection and release it in our emotional experience too. So I'm super excited for you to use that in your own lives as well as in your teaching. So we've done some practices that have allowed us to connect to our breath and to our body. And now we are going to do some awesome practices that allow you to support your students in connecting to their emotions. We did the 2-word check-in at the beginning of this session. This is where you invite your students to find a comfortable position. They can bring their hands to their heart, connect to their breath, and then just take a moment to check in and notice how you feel. And then from there, choose 2 words that describe how you feel. And then from there, you'd invite your students in some way to share their 2 words in the community. If you're in person, you can have them go around in a circle and say their 2 words, or they can turn and share those 2 words with a partner or a neighbor or a small group. You can have them have a 2-word check-in journal where they're tracking how they're feeling each day. There's so many creative ways to use this. And this can be used as a settle-in strategy so that you as a teacher, as an educator, as a leader, can understand where your students are at and respond from that place of like, okay, this is where my students are. This is what they need. And you can also use it as a closing strategy. So at the end of a really meaningful experience that you have together, you can check in and see how it landed. How do you feel, right? And let your students know. We also have the weather report and loving kindness meditation, which we will model both for you right now. So Michelle, will you do a weather report?
Sure. All right, everyone. So just take a little time, get oriented. Maybe you want to sit as if you were going to sit for a meditation, or maybe you feel like standing, whatever's going to help you feel most grounded. And then come into your breath. Take a few breaths in and out. And just feeling how you are right now in this moment. And as you feel how you are, if you could describe how you're feeling right now, like you might describe the weather, what would your weather report be? So you might be feeling cloudy, or I'm feeling windy or sun peeking out from behind the clouds? What's your weather report? Sunny and clear, cloudy, sun and beach. All right. Humid. We got overcast, sure, clear skies. Oh, a twister. Uh-oh. Sahara and dust, warm and sunny, partly sunny, hot and sunny. Yeah, so you get it. This is a great and really creative way to describe how you're feeling and what's going on. Scattered showers, a tornado, your daughter came running in.
And
So-
one of the powerful things about the weather report is that when we're thinking about social emotional learning, emotional awareness is absolutely key. And a lot of our students may not have the actual words to use in any given moment to express how they feel, whether they don't actually have the vocabulary to express, or they may be activated in a certain way where it's hard to express. And a weather report gives them like a different doorway in to tapping into their emotions and communicating about those emotions in a way that is almost like a metaphor, right? I'm feeling like a thunderstorm right now. That like you can feel the vibe of what that means, but it's a different access point, which can be really, really an inclusive and accessible practice. Yeah, cool. Awesome. So when it comes to our emotions, one of the most important things for us, our students, to be able to develop when it comes to SEL is compassion and empathy. And so the loving kindness practice allows us and our students to practice just that, to cultivate compassion for ourselves, compassion for those closest to us, compassion to our community, compassion for all beings everywhere. And so this is a great practice to use when you feel like, oh, there's some suffering in this space, or I want to connect my students to that sense of kindness, love, and connection. So I invite you to join me in a loving kindness practice. So find a comfortable position. It will be a short meditation. You can ground down through your sits bones, lengthen through your spine. Whenever I think about compassion, it just like lives right here in my heart. So if you'd like, you can bring your hands over your heart, or a hand over your heart and one over your belly. Just connect to your breath. Connect to your heart space. And from this place of connection, I invite you to just imagine as though you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and just connect to you here. And I invite you to send yourself this message or blessing of loving kindness. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be free. Again, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be free. Just take a deep breath in, sending yourself love. Deep breath out. Now I invite you to bring to mind someone in your life that you just love, who's been there for you through thick and thin. Just see them in your mind's eye and feel them in your heart. And I invite you to send this person your blessing of loving kindness. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be free. Again, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be free. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And now bringing to mind someone in your life who might be suffering right now, or who could use an extra dose of loving kindness. So just connect to that person. See them in your mind's eye, feel them right there in your heart. And I invite you to send this person your blessing of loving kindness. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be free. Again, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be free. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And now bring to mind your community, whatever that means to you. Maybe it's your classroom community or your school community or your extended family or friends, some community that you care about deeply. And just see them in your mind's eye and feel them in your heart. And I invite you to send your whole community this blessing of loving kindness. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be safe. May we be free. Again, may we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be safe. May we be free. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And now expanding your awareness to everyone in this room and everyone in the world. So just growing that awareness of everything that you're holding here, all beings everywhere. And I invite you to send everyone everywhere this blessing of loving kindness. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all be safe. May we all be free. Again, may we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all be safe. May we all be free. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just feeling your heart, allowing this practice to resonate and integrate inside you. Then whenever you're ready, just checking in with yourself, noticing the impact, noticing how you feel. And then when you feel called, if your eyes are closed, you can gently open them, come back into the space, give your love out to each other. And I would love to just hear in the chat, what's a word or two words that describe that experience for you? How do you feel after your loving kindness practice? Loved and safe, beautiful, connected, peaceful. Yeah, it really has that effect. Gratitude, grateful, hopeful, safe, encouraged, together, calm, positive, peaceful, expansive, incredibly loving. Yeah, it just has such a profound effect. And so you can just think about one of those moments that you think that this kind of a practice would be helpful. And if we're talking about scaffolding and differentiating this practice for all different ages, with my pre-K kids, for example, I would just choose one affirmation instead of four. With all of you, I said, may we be happy, may we be healthy, may we be safe, may we be free. You can choose one, you can choose two, you can choose three, you can choose four, you can change the affirmations based on what's needed in the space, which will be different. You know, are we experiencing, is there frustration? Is there sadness in the space? Is there contentment? Is there joy? There'd be, you'd choose different affirmations based on what is needed in the room. And you can even work with your students. Hey, what do we need to send to ourselves and each other today? And you can also, in the context of the classroom, have them first go to themselves, then think about a student or a peer in the class, then think about their whole classroom community, then their whole school community, and then the whole world. So you can actually make who you have them focus on be relevant to their current experience and what the context is of who you're teaching. So those are just a few ways that you can adapt and modify this for use in the classroom setting. So we just taught you some practices that you can use to connect to your breath, to your body, to your emotions. And now to close, we just want to close with the power of intention setting, visualization, and gratitude. So I invite you to just bring your hands over your heart for a moment and just begin to set an intention for how you want to show up the rest of your day. So you might land on one word that describes this intention. What energy do you want to carry forth with you today so that you can get everything out of your day that you want to get and more? How do you want to be? What's your intention? Then you can put that intention into the chat. And let's see, what's your intention? Let's see what everyone's intention is. Patient, joy, positivity, peaceful, purposeful, calm, present, impactful, committed. I love it. So you can have your students set intentions at the beginning of your class or at the beginning of their day or at the beginning of whatever activity they're doing. You can teach them to integrate intention setting into their life. Like when they wake up, what's your intention for the day? And intentions are about how you are, not what you do. It's not like I want to get an A on the test. It's like, how do you want to be so that you can get an A on the test? Totally different. It's not the goal. It's about how you want to show up. And so that can be an incredibly powerful tool. So when your mind wanders, you come right back to your intention. And now, Michelle, will you talk about gratitude and share some amazing practices?
Of course. Oh gosh. Gratitude can change you in a moment, right? Like if you're starting to spiral downward and you're focusing on a lot of things that are bothering you or things that are negative, that are not going well, you can really flip that script with some gratitude. So let's take a moment right now. And you can sit up, you might close your eyes again. Maybe you try something different because we've done a lot of this kind of a setup where you're sitting like you're going to meditate. Maybe this time you want to put a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. If that feels right to you, try it. And just ask yourself, what are you grateful for? And as you feel your gratitude and all of these things that you are grateful for come up, just let them come through so much. I mean, you can even, if you get stuck, you can just go to this chair I'm sitting on, the house I have, the people in my world, the car that I drive, you can just start to name, we have so much to be grateful for. Just continue feeling and recognizing what you are grateful for. And I invite you to take 3 of those things that you're grateful for and pop those into the chat. What are 3 quick things you're grateful for? Just without even thinking about it. Health, children, husband, my shoes, vegetables, my parents, my husband, children, career, life, stickers, my husband's cooking, family, life, health, family, husband, kids, friends. Yep. A lot of partners in there, a lot of family. I love it.
So powerful. Having an attitude of gratitude is game changing and is something that we can support our students in doing when it comes to SEL and mental health, that having the tool of gratitude can be life changing. So as Michelle and I mentioned, so much of what we shared today are just small tastes of what we do in our 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training. And I've been getting a lot of direct messages and questions about it. So we'll just take a few minutes to share more about our 200-hour training for those of you who are interested in learning more about Breathe for Change. And if you're a trainee or a grad, feel free to put into the chat anything about your experience, because you know best what our training is. So without further ado, let me just really quickly, I just want to grab a link for all of you who are interested in learning more. There you go. So let's talk about it. So again, we run the world's only 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training. And at this point, we already have over 7,000 graduates and educators across the country and world who have done this incredible training. So we'll talk really quickly about our outcomes, our training structure and curriculum, the certifications you'll receive, and how we make this accessible to educators everywhere so that all of you who want to take it can do it. So our training outcomes, first and foremost, the number one intention of this training is for you to enhance your own physical, mental, and social emotional well-being through cultivating a personal and sustainable yoga and meditation practice. And why? Because you matter and your well-being matters and is really the foundation of all of our capacity to teach. So additionally, Michelle, I'll pass it to you.
Oh, additionally, you will be able to teach inclusive and accessible yoga classes and meditation practices for both adults and young people in person and digitally.
So you get to become real yoga teachers, which is so awesome. And then also our goal is that you graduate with the tools to effectively facilitate SEL and wellness experiences and practices and programs and PD for both adults and young people in your school, district, or organization. And last but not least, Michelle, our favorite.
Oh yeah, you get to join this amazing community of passionate educators and leaders who are committed to using wellness as a vehicle for healing and social change.
Awesome. So now that you know where we are headed, let's talk about what content we're learning. So our training consists of 6 content areas: our Breathe for Change workshops, which are grounded in our transformational curricular progression that I'll walk you through in a moment. SELF, at Breathe for Change, we tag on the F to SEL because, like we said today, we believe it's so critically important for us as educators and leaders to embody the SEL practices and competencies that we hope to teach our kids. And then in asana, the physical practice of yoga, that's where you'll learn how to break down the poses, sequence them together, and ultimately design and teach inclusive and trauma-informed yoga classes. And then in meditation, if you're new to the practice, you'll start a meditation practice. If you already have one, you'll deepen your already existing one, and then you'll learn how to guide others through a wide range of meditations. And then in philosophy, we go into the history of yoga and the ethical principles of yoga. And we talk about how these ethical principles connect to who we are as teachers and leaders. And then in anatomy, we explore how our physical bodies connect to the practice of yoga. And ultimately, it's designed to support us in building the healthiest relationship possible with our bodies. And so our training has a transformational curricular progression, which begins with transformation of self, which is all about us cultivating and enhancing our own well-being. From that foundation of our own well-being, we move into transformation of relationships, which is all about how do we enhance well-being in all of our relationships, especially those that matter most to us. From there, we move into transformation of community, which is why so many of you come to Breathe for Change in the first place, where we explore how to utilize wellness, SEL, and yoga as vehicles for healing and social change in our communities. And then finally, we end with what we call integration and renewal, where we integrate and celebrate everything that's unfolded and then prepare ourselves for new beginnings as these amazing social emotional learning facilitators and yoga teachers. So again, everything that we do in training is designed to give you the skills to use wellness, SEL, and yoga as a vehicle for healing and social change in your community. So let's talk certifications for a moment. So through our 200-hour training, you actually get 2 certifications. You get your 200-hour yoga teacher certification, which is the international gold standard yoga teacher certification that enables you to register through the Yoga Alliance, which is the umbrella organization that certifies all yoga teachers in schools. You can think about it as like your teacher credential in the context of yoga. And then you also get your social emotional learning facilitator certification. We're the only 200-hour yoga teacher training in the entire world that's specifically for educators. And so you also become experts of SEL, mindfulness and wellness in your schools, districts, and organization, and really become a leader of this work. And then you can also get graduate level credits, professional development units, and continuing education units through our partner universities. And so our trainings are a combination of like the most interactive, engaging, community-based live sessions on Zoom that you've probably ever experienced. And then also on-demand self-paced content. So you come to the live sessions on Zoom, you engage, you meet people, you're building relationships, you're going deeper on the content. At the end of each of the live session chunks that we do, then you get access to the next round of on-demand content that you complete before the next live session. So you do that on your own pace so that you can create your schedule, but we all come to the live sessions with the same knowledge and in-depth relationship with the content. And then in addition to the training itself, you also get access to our Breathe for Change membership, which is so exciting. You can pop into live yoga classes throughout the week, live meditation classes, live SEL and wellness webinars. So there's lots of opportunities for you to deepen your personal practice. You also will get access to daily wellness tips and practices. So like Mindful Mondays, we do intention setting, and Teacher Tuesdays, we feature awesome teachers that are doing incredible work so you can learn from them, and so on and so forth. So the membership you get the second that you sign up for training until graduation. And then you also get to interact with all these amazing humans. You met Michelle and me today. Bree, who's on this slide, is our co-lead trainer, a lifelong educator and social justice warrior. She's amazing. She's also a graduate of our 200-hour training from 5 years ago. And then the rest of the people on this slide are the other people that you will meet in training and who will be holding your hand every step of the way. And so we have 3 trainings that are either just started or one in October. So we just launched our summer trainings this Monday and this Wednesday. We have a couple of spots left because some people last minute had to change cohorts or, got COVID or things happened. And so we do have a couple spots left in the Monday, Tuesday, and the Wednesday, Thursday cohort. So if you're like, I just want to dive in, I want to do the summer immersion over the next 6 weeks, and you can see those live sessions are over the course of 6 hours in your day on Mondays and Tuesdays or Wednesdays and Thursdays, then my recommendation to you is to immediately apply and schedule your call with our educator development advisor. So you can get on the phone this week and they can get you into training if you want one of those last few spots and you're like ready to just go. Now, if you are wanting to plan ahead and you want to be a part of our October cohort, the October training happens over the course of 6 months. The live session during the school year are once a month on the weekends to support your schedules and to ensure that you have space to complete the on-demand content between those live sessions. And so that training is already filling up incredibly fast. And the way that we do all of our application process and get every educator in training is you fill out this form that is in the link that I just sent you. I'll walk you through it in a moment. And then you can, here's the process. So you fill out the application form, you schedule a call with our educator development advisor. We talk to you, we want to get to know you, we want to make sure you have all the resources that you need to take our training. And then from there, if it feels like a good fit for you and our educator development advisors, then we'll get you into training and register you. Now, one thing I just want to note is one of our intentions is to make this as accessible and affordable as possible. So typically yoga teacher trainings alone are like $4,000 or $5,000. And so we've done everything we can to reduce the tuition costs for our amazing educators. So typically it's $29.95, but right now, because of the amazing work that all of you are doing. We are offering a $1,000 educator discount. So your tuition would be $19.95, and we absolutely have interest-free payment plans that our educator development advisors will talk to you about so that you can make this happen. And we also have a bunch of other resources that we give you so that you can seek outside sources of funding. So the point that we want to make is do not apply because of the financial reason. So we have a ton of people that end up registering, signing themselves up for our $250 a month interest-free payment plan, and then simultaneously we'll start a Donors Choose project, which I just put into the chat. So raise your hand if you know Donors Choose. Anyone? Some of you, yeah. So Donors Choose is a platform for educators that allows you to create projects that get funded by the community. And so we've had thousands of educators get partially or fully funded on Donors Choose. And so we've created templates for you. We've made it really easy. We have samples of grads that got it successfully funded. So you can start a Donors Choose project. What most people do is, because we have hundreds of applications come in every single week and we can only fit a certain amount, is you apply using that form, schedule your call with our educator development advisor. Most people begin by registering with a $250 deposit to just get into training and get on the interest-free payment plan, and then simultaneously start the Donors Choose project or seek outside sources of funding. So we have a lot of educators, more and more, that are getting access to school and district funds. There's ESSER funds out there, professional development funds that are available, there's grants. And so what a lot of people do is they'll register, like, just to get in, they'll get access to your welcome module and your curriculum, so you can start right away, as well as the membership. So you can start joining our community sessions and meeting people and joining our classes to prep you. And then simultaneously seeking, reaching out to your principal or your superintendent or your admin or whoever it is that may have access to funds that can cover you. And so we created a funding justification letter for those of you who want to seek outside PD funds or any sort of funds. It's grounded in research. It talks about what the impact will be for you and your community. And so you can send this off to anyone who may have access to funds, and they can hopefully get those for you. Now, let's just say you sign up, you schedule your call today, you fill out that form, schedule your call, and then you register with the deposit so you can get access to the training. You can seek funding for as long as you want. Let's say in 3 months down the line, you're like, finally, the funding came through, I was able to get funded. We'll reimburse everything that you individually put down at any point and take someone else's funding. We'd way rather have someone else fund you than you fund yourself. But most educators are like, I'm going to do this either way. And so we support you throughout the process once you've signed up to also seek outside sources of funding. And then the other thing I will mention is, if the $250 interest-free payment plan does not work for you, no problem. Apply, schedule your call. If you have financial need, we do have a financial assistance program that if you share your story and where you're at financially with our educator development advisors, they'll give you an application if you qualify for our financial assistance program. So that's another way that we ensure equity through our trainings and make sure that all of you have access. So the point is, apply if you're at all remotely interested. The other piece that I just want to name is, you don't need to be 100% positive that you can do this or want to do this or that the training dates work or anything like that to apply. The educator development advisor will give you all the details. They'll talk more about it. You can ask all your questions on that call, and then you can make a choice if it's the right thing for you. So that's our process. We talk to everybody. We're sticking to it. We've talked to thousands of educators, everyone who's taken our training. That's really important to us. So you can definitely just fill out the application to learn more. And the other thing is, if you fill it out now, you'll get access to that $1,000 educator discount, which obviously we want you to have access to. So just so you know, the application, I just sent the link in the chat. Michelle, if you can send it again, that'd be great. It's the 200-hour yoga and SEL training page on our site. And the application is just a simple thing. And when application, it's really a form. It's your personal information so we can connect with you, what your role is. So we get to know you better, your school or organization, and then just a short note on why you're inspired to do this. Then on the other side of submit is where you schedule your call. It's a 20-minute call with our educator development advisor. So you can fill out this form now, get on their calendar. Their calendars are getting more and more full. So I highly recommend doing it. And again, if you are at all interested in the summer trainings, you literally have to apply today or you won't get in. So, and if you're not sure, you're like, should I do summer or should I do October? Either way, apply now and just talk to them about what makes the most sense for your schedule, because our October cohorts are stacking up and we want to make sure that you don't have to get on the wait list. So the other thing that I did mention is that we offer graduate level credits and CEUs. So if you are someone who is interested in getting those credits, I sent the link in the chat. Also, no one says it better than our graduates themselves. So here's a little short video that you can watch. It's a tearjerker. It's our recent graduation of ours, where we were celebrating all the 200-hour graduates and their impact. And then we just pulled what people said at graduation, so you can kind of get a feel for the impact of our training. So I'm happy to stay on. Michelle and I are very happy to stay on to answer a few of your questions if you have any. I see some grads talking in the chat. So awesome. If any of you need to miss any sessions, that's always a question. We record everything in the main room. So you will get access to all the recordings of the live sessions. You'll miss breakout rooms. You will not want to miss because it's amazing, but life happens, right? People get sick. People have weddings to attend. It's okay. We will post the recordings of every live session at the end of each training day, and you can just watch them at your own time and catch yourself up so that you can dive right back in. Let's see, any other questions? What is the time commitment for October through March cohort? So it's 9 to 3 Pacific time, so 12 to 6 Eastern, and everything in between on one Saturday and Sunday a month that you need to allocate to yourself. You can think about it as your own self-care retreat. And then in between the months of the live session, I would say about 10 to 15 hours of on-demand content. And you could also think about the on-demand content as your self-care time. This is like you're learning yoga, asana, the physical practice, you're learning meditation, you're practicing social emotional learning strategies similar to this webinar. You're going to feel amazing engaging with it. So you can allocate time however you want in those months between. Is anyone deciding to apply or filling out the form? Let me know. I want to know who's interested. It always gets Michelle and me so excited. Yay, awesome. So cool. Narco. And can you see the dates again? Sure, let me post that really quickly. So here are the dates of the two cohort 65 and 67 started this week. And again, we had a couple of people that needed to switch cohorts given their schedule and COVID situation. So we do have a couple spots left if you want to jump in right away. We just ask that you apply today. And we also recommend that you apply even if you're interested in the October cohort, because if you register sooner rather than later, you'll get immediate access to all of the resources that are in our membership and in our training, and you can start the training experience right away and get access to our Breathe for Change platform so many magical things. So here's the link that will give you, again, that $1,000 educator discount if you fill out that form today. And we don't do just an SEL training for Breathe for Change. Everything that we do is integrated. So SEL meets equity work, meets trauma-informed practice, meets mindfulness, meets wellness, meets yoga. So our training, you become an expert in all of the things, and we don't believe that they're mutually exclusive. So that's why you get 2 certifications through us. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. I am so thrilled. Oh, yay, you're starting, or you're interested in starting in the fall. So cool. Yeah, it's amazing to do during the school year because it's like you get this community of amazing people to journey with, and then you can integrate the things that you're learning as you're learning them. So it's super powerful to do the October training. Awesome. Well, with
Angela Morris, if you're still on, will you hang out with us? I'd just love to solve your problem that you had signing up. So hang out with me if you're still on the call. I can't find your name.
I see it. Hi, Angela.
Hey. Okay.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you. I hope you have all the resources you need. If you don't, then just fill out the form and schedule your call with our educator development advisors, and they will share all the things and let you know how you can be fully supported in making this happen if it's something you're interested in, or if any of your colleagues or friends are interested in it, you can pass along the information too. So thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Thanks for staying an extra 17 minutes just to listen about more about Breathe for Change. And we appreciate you.